Man, I love this place. The problem is we get so busy we don't take the time to experience everything this place has to offer.
Hey hoo! Oh my
Okay,
God.
that was pretty good.
So tell me about, wow, they have some long tongues.
Yes. Have you ever been here before?
I've never been here.
Oh gosh, you're in for a surprise.
Could you call Taylor Swift right now if you
I
wanted
could
to?
call, yeah.
Oh man, I love that. I wish that was you.
Oh, wow. Cheese croissants.
These croissants. Good?
That is good.
That'll pass? Yeah.
That is good.
Hey, come on now, Noah. No.
She's faster than me.
I think I'm ready.
My name is Noah. Come with me and let's explore a little bit of my hometown of San Diego. If I had to choose one of my favorite neighborhoods in San Diego, tops on that list would have to be Coronado. This place is like a movie set. Beautiful parks, miles of beaches, and of course, the Hotel Del. Back in the day, the beautiful island of Coronado attracted people from all over the world, and one of those people was businessman John D. Spreckles. When it comes to the development of Coronado, and actually all of San Diego, nobody deserves more credit than Spreckles. This guy started it all. The ferry, the trolley, San Diego's rail line, and even helped build Balboa Park. But it was on Coronado Island that Spreckles built his dream home, on 5 acres of land overlooking Glorieta Bay, right across from the Hotel Del. In 1908, Spreckles contracted Harrison Albright to design and build his mansion. With simple classic lines of Italian Renaissance, the cost was $35,000. Today, it's as beautiful as ever, and it's called Glorieta Bay Inn. Inside, I met sales and marketing manager Kelsey Roberts, who welcomed me.
Welcome Noah to Glorieta Bay Inn. Well, in 1908, when the mansion was first built, it consisted of 6 mansion guest rooms that was for his children and grandchildren. Now today, we have 100 guest rooms. We have 11 in our mansion and 89 modern contemporary rooms.
This place is nice. They've managed to keep the feel of home, a really nice home that is, yet incorporate a world-class hotel. Kelsey and I took Spreckles' original brass cage elevator up to check out the penthouse suite.
And you know what, Noah? The best part about this penthouse are the 360 degrees views of Coronado. Wow. You have the Coronado Bridge, Glorieta Bay, and the Pacific Ocean, and the surrounding Coronado City. It's beautiful.
Out on the patio, you can really take in the views. It was awesome. Kelsey was nice, and before I left, she showed me some great historic pictures they have hanging on the walls. Then I saw this one of Spreckles and his grandkids sitting on an indoor swing. Well, that same room is here, and so are the eye hooks left in the ceiling, just as they were. Now that is pretty cool. Just like the Glorieta Bay Inn, when you're looking for a first-class place to stay in Coronado, you just found it. Like I said earlier, Spreckles was responsible for many of Coronado's cornerstones, like the neighborhood library, which would be my next stop. Inside, I met the director of the Coronado Public Library, Christian Escoven.
Welcome, Noah, to the Coronado Public Library. We've been on this site since 1909, and in fact, we still have a part of the library that was built then by John D. Spreckles, who made it a gift to the people of Coronado. Although we were actually established before that in 1890. So we're now celebrating our 125th year of service to the people of Coronado. Very center of town here, this block, and across the street, Central Park of Coronado. So we've been serving the people and very happy to do so. So this is the Spreckles Reading Room that we call it, in honor of John D. Spreckles, who actually paid to have his architect design it. He paid to have it built, and he made a gift of it to the people of Coronado. So we call it the Spreckles Reading Room. In 1909, this was the entire library.
Really?
Of course, in those days, the streets weren't even paved yet. In 2005, so a lot of work was done. It was painted inside and out. Asbestos was taken out. We restored and had the wooden cabinets put in, old-time books put in there, comfortable seating. So we tried to make it look like a period library.
But this was it.
This was
this
it.
right here.
Yeah, that was the entire library.
It's beautiful.
Now it all makes sense. When I see it from the outside, you can tell the original library is still there, and they've added on to make it bigger and better than ever. On that same note of keeping original things original, from the moment you walk through the doors, the first thing you notice is this beautiful mural.
So we're very proud of this feature too. This is the fresco mural painted by Alfredo Ramos Martinez back in 1938. So this is one piece, and these cutouts were actually doorways in the restaurant called La Avenida here in Coronado.
Really?
It was a very well-known hangout back in the 30s and 40s. It was closed and empty for years. The mural was going to be torn down along with the hotel itself, the whole building. So it's a miracle it survived because it had to be moved out of there. This is on plaster.
So they cut it off the wall and brought it here?
They cut it in 5 pieces, each above doorway section, and the 2 main panels had to be cut and then lowered onto crates and then trucked out. But there were a lot of other steps in between and a lot of money spent. We're fortunate to get it. It was a donation to the city by the people that bought the restaurant. And here it is.
The library has several wonderful artifacts from Coronado's past, and Christian showed me one that may be the most important of them all.
These are what I'd like to call the founding documents of Coronado as a city and as a place. So they're really unique. These were the draft papers on this side, and this is obviously a map of Coronado. This is where everything was laid out in blocks, in individual lots. You can see how it was laid out. Here's the central plaza, as it was called. We're on the left, so it was called the West Plaza. The East Plaza is where the park is. Orange Avenue, right there, the main street today. The hotel site, it wasn't even really laid out then. It was just kind of a big block. Right. That's when there was still the Spanish Bight, so this was all water.
Okay.
That's all been filled in. That all belongs to the Navy now. But then it was.
This is all land now.
Yeah, this is water.
Wow.
This is, you could sail your boat in there.
So Babcock and Story,
Yeah.
they buy this place. How much do they buy Coronado for? Do we know?
Well, they bought it for $110,000.
The whole island.
Yeah.
Wow. And then they plot out what they want to do with it, and that's
Yeah.
what we see here.
Yeah. So this map is interesting because the other side has all this other information. So I'm going to turn it around.
Okay.
And this is, the advertisement about everything there is neat about Coronado. Hunting and fishing, buy a home.
Oh, that's funny. Look at with perfect freedom from malaria and kindred diseases.
That's right.
So these are the real deal. This is legit, one of a kind.
One of a kind.
Where did we get these?
Well, we have them on loan from somebody who specializes in paper antiquities.
Okay.
So it's somebody I've known, and he, of course, being Coronado, these are relevant to our history. So he thought he'd give me a call and see if we wanted to maybe put them on exhibit here. See if maybe somebody that we knew might want to be a sponsor and actually buy them for the library.
Oh, so they are for sale.
They're for sale.
How much does something like this cost?
Well, he's asking $100,000 for the set.
Very good. So for $100,000, we can keep them in the family.
That's right.
And they'll stay in Coronado forever.
That's right. They're very unique. They're priceless. You can't find these anywhere else.
Now, I don't have $100,000, but maybe you do. And if so, Christian would love to hear from you. It's definitely an important part of Coronado's history that needs to stay in Coronado. Well, I had a great time at the library. It's certainly a place I could easily spend half a day and not even know it. Before I left, I noticed more great paintings. These were from the original Wizard of Oz book. And then I ran into longtime resident and local historian Joe Dittler, who told me that the Wizard of Oz author L. Frank Baum actually lived in a house right down the street. So of course, I made him take me there. From the library, Joe and I headed to Star Park, which is located right down the street. And there it was.
Well, here's the thing about the Wizard of Oz house and L. Frank Baum and the whole Wizard of Oz legend. Did Coronado inspire the Wizard of Oz? Yes and no. The first book was already written when he had come here in 1904, and he was here until 1910. But he didn't write that book here. It was inspired by the Great Chicago World's Fair. What did inspire him were subsequent books, subsequent novels, along the same vein of the Wizard of Oz. He also wrote a lot of poetry here. I mean, the inspiration that he got from Coronado is so well documented. He did live in this house. He did write a lot of his work in this house. He was inspired by Star Park and by the Hotel Del and by the beach. He wrote a beautiful poem, a beautiful short story about the wobble bug, based upon an adventure he had on the beach with a little girl that he'd met on the beach who was asking what this crab was. There's so many great stories. Did he inspire Coronado? Yes. Did Coronado inspire him? By all means. It's one of the proud pieces of the past here in Coronado that we had L. Frank Baum here and that we know so much about him and what he did when he was here. Oh look, there's Pike. There's the owner. Let's see if we can say hello. Do you want to? Come on.
Sounds good.
Pike Powers Mead and Jane Reynolds Mead have been living in this house for quite some time, and they love it. Right away you notice there's something special going on here. I guess you can say from a young age, Jane's future in Coronado has always been in the cards.
Then my grandfather won the bet, and they moved out here. In fact, the house is still here, right here in Coronado.
Moved to a house he won in a poker game.
He moved to a house with all of the kids.
Wow.
And we were all that's all started about raising all of us.
What a
we were
lucky
here
hand.
in Coronado. I know.
Now, for the past 6 generations, the whole family is still in Coronado.
Lucky you. Good for you.
Very lucky.
Yes.
And we have 5 kids, and they were all raised here. And they love it. And being Coronado kids, they come over all the time. And all their babies, we had every second about them because they were right here when they were born.
Wow,
Isn't
what a
that
blessing.
lucky?
That is so good. I love
I know. It really is good.
How cool is that? Since she was a young girl, Jane has always had her eye on this house, not knowing it was the L. Frank Baum house. And when she found out, it just made it all the more special. Pike and Jane are some of the nicest people you'll ever meet. Well, I was getting a little hungry, so Joe said he had the perfect spot, loaded with Coronado history and some great food. Located on Glorieta Bay is the Blue Water Boathouse Seafood Grill, which looks just like a mini Hotel Del.
They built this the year before the Hotel Del as a kind of a training play area for the carpenters and the workmen. They finished the boathouse and they went across the street and they built the Hotel Del in less than a year. Can you believe that? Wow. Yeah. So the boathouse, beginning in 1969, became a succession of very successful restaurants. It was the number 4 chart house in the chain for a long time, and then it became the Boathouse, and then Boathouse 1887, and then 1887 on the bay, and all fine foods, all fantastic restaurants. And now it's the Blue Water Boathouse, maybe the best one ever. Well, here we are at the top of the boathouse. We call it the cupola. And this is a very special place. Wow. Like I said, most people never get to see this. But from here you can look around and see every point of the compass. You can see Mexico, the Coronado shores, Pacific Ocean, the Coronado Islands. How'd you like to live up here?
Oh yeah, I'm moving in right now.
After taking in the view, it was time to take in some food. So I headed downstairs where I met Blue Water manager Frankie Ione.
Noah, we're right here in the Blue Water Boathouse located on the beautiful Glorieta Bay. We're a seafood restaurant known specifically for our sustainable choices on the menu, so we don't buy seafood from anyone who contributes to overfishing or pollution, and we love being here.
If you're like me and you love seafood, you will love Blue Water Boathouse. Next, Frankie showed me some of their favorites.
So here we have our oysters on the half shell. They're Fanny Bay, and winter is actually the best time to enjoy oysters if you like to eat them. Next we have our seafood Louis salad, piled high with crab meat and bay shrimp. It's also got some beautiful sliced avocado, some eggs, and topped off with traditional Louis dressing. One of my very favorite dishes is the San Francisco style chipino. It's got a zesty marinara broth, and in there are some mussels, clams, shrimp, fish. It's got the whole shebang in there. One of our most popular appetizers are the ponzu scallops served on the half shell. These come with a little bit of masago, which is fish eggs, seaweed. It's got the scallop in there, and then a wasabi aioli. This is our chipotle swordfish. It's actually my very favorite item on the menu. Our swordfish comes to us fresh caught right off the Pelakia, which is the restaurant's boat. Here it's on top of a bed of dirty Chipotle-style rice. It's topped with a sweet corn and avocado cilantro, and that fish has got a real nice spice to it. Two things are guaranteed when you come join us for dinner at the Blue Water Boathouse. We've got the freshest seafood in town and some of the best staff around.
I totally agree. Check out Blue Water Boathouse. You will love it. From Blue Water, the Joe Dittler History Tour continued back up Orange Avenue to Coronado's first and only movie theater.
Noah, welcome to the Coronado Village Theater. This is our shrine. This is our church. This is a very special place that we go to sometimes twice a week. I've been coming up here since I was a kid. I used to ride my Stingray bike up here. And I'll never forget, you come around the corner and you smell the popcorn. No other problems mattered in your world, in your little world. This is the Village Theater. It was built right after World War II. The original owner was limited on what he could put into it. After the war, there wasn't a whole lot of product around to get fancy with. It's called an Art Deco theater, but it is not part of the golden age of theaters, movie theaters, in the 20s and 30s. It was built in the late 40s. It closed down about 14 years ago. They weren't making much money, and they weren't taking care of the place. I mean, you sit down and the seats in the spring would goose up your bum, and your feet would stick to the floor. There was a big hole in the screen. So they finally just walked away and left it. And when I say they left it, they closed the doors, left food on the floor. When they opened the doors 10 years later, when they had a new owner come in with big ideas, I'm telling you, the rats in here were as long as your arm. So the guy that took the theater over, his name was Lance Allspaw. He's with the Vintage Cinemas in Los Angeles, and he's a brilliant man. And with him came probably the final word in movie theater design, a man named Joseph Musil. Joe Musil had redesigned the El Capitan Theater in Los Angeles, which is the benchmark for Art Deco theaters. And when he came in here, he only had one limitation. He said the city of Coronado said you must keep the frontage the same, the terrazza, the booth, the sign, but you can do whatever you want on the inside. So under Joe Musil's guidance, Lance and his team came in and they tore the whole theater apart. It was one screen, one main screen, and I think it had 600 seats. And this was about 4 years ago, by the way, when they reopened. And they now have 3 screening rooms. The main theater seats about 250, and the 2 smaller ones seat about 40 each. And as you can see, it's just Art Deco to the max. We love it so much, I can hardly talk about it without breaking into a wide grin. It's just a wonderful, wonderful theater, and we're very proud of it.
Okay, this place is very cool. And in the screen rooms are murals that'll blow your mind.
Now, inside each of the 3 screening rooms, there are 2 murals, 2 hand-painted murals. Those were done by a retired muralist who worked at Disney Studios for many years. Matter of fact, he worked way back in the Walt Disney era. The muralist's name was Bill Anderson. So they found Bill, and he and his daughter came out of retirement, and they hand-painted 2 murals inside of each of the 3 screening rooms. So the first screening room that you're going to see is called the exhibition room. And on the walls you see buildings as they looked in Balboa Park 100 years ago. And it's ironic that this year we're celebrating the centennial of the Panama Exposition. But then in the far room, the far screening room, they call that the Balboa room. And you'll see Balboa Park as it is today. In the main screening room, it's been described as lying on your back in a rowboat at night and looking up at the stars, and over on your left, there's the Coronado Bridge, and there's the Hotel Del and the old chart house, the Blue Water Boathouse. And then over here, look, there's the city skyline in San Diego, and look, there's a ferry boat with cars on it. And when they told me that, they didn't let anybody in to see it. Only the workers could see it until we opened. And I tried desperately to get in and get a picture, and they wouldn't let me. But when they did open it up, and we did get a look, boy, he didn't exaggerate at all. It's just so beautiful, as you'll see.
All I can say is amazing. I found myself staring at the walls rather than watching the movie. The Coronado Village Theater is definitely a must. I think one of my favorite things about Coronado is the small town feel. Cute little shops and quaint restaurants. Restaurants just like Clayton's Coffee Shop. Inside, Clayton's owner, Mary Freese, welcomed me.
Noah, welcome to Clayton's. We are located on Orange Avenue in the heart of Coronado. So Clayton's started back in the early 1940s, and I have the privilege of being the third owner. I took over in 2008, and not only are we a historical coffee shop, but we have a Mexican takeout business, and we have an old-fashioned pickup window where you can get coffee and donuts. We are known for our homemade, home-style food, comfort food, which we've received the Best of award every year for the last several years. We do turkey dinners. We bake turkeys every day. We do all kinds of omelets and eggs, and so breakfast, lunch, and dinner. We serve breakfast all day, but really specializing in homemade dinners. We have a lot of military customers that come in, and we love to feed the boys. Love it, love for them to come in here and feel like they're getting a piece of home. When you're hungry, you come to Clayton's.
She's not kidding. Everything on the menu looks amazing.
Okay, these are our homemade biscuits and gravy. We bake biscuits daily from scratch. This is our club sandwich, the turkey club, traditional club. We use our baked turkey, which we bake turkeys every day. This is our French toast with granola and fresh berries. Over here we have our turkey dinner, traditional turkey dinner. It's Thanksgiving every day at Clayton's. Okay, this is the Clayton's Stacker Burger. We do homemade onion rings with an incredible beer batter recipe. This is our Coronado omelet, which is Swiss cheese, tomato, and fresh avocado. And then for healthy alternatives, we have the acai bowl. We use original Sambazon acai with granola, honey, coconut, bananas, and strawberries. It's become a local's favorite. Noah, you like pie? We have Granny Smith, old-fashioned homemade Granny Smith apple pie. We make fresh here every day.
Along with the diner, they have a walk-up donut and coffee window.
So our coffee window opens at 5 a.m. daily, so you can get donuts and coffee first thing in the morning. The diner opens up at 6 a.m. We start serving breakfast immediately, and we serve breakfast all day until we close at 9 o'clock during the week and 10 o'clock on weekends.
And if that's not enough, Mary also does Mexican takeout.
Mexican takeout is also a local's favorite, has been part of the Clayton's establishment for about 25 years now. We do California burritos over there. It really is a local's favorite. Great, authentic Mexican cuisine, in and out, very good.
It's food like that that keeps folks like Byron Redmond from Tyler, Texas coming back.
I've been coming to Clayton's for the last 6 months every morning for breakfast, lunch, and sometimes dinner. It's the best food on the island. There is 83 restaurants in this island. The food is the best and it never changes. The service is impeccable.
Before I left, Mary and I made one of their famous hand-scooped ice cream shakes, and she told me what she loves about doing business in Coronado.
I love being part of a small town community. Get to know a lot of the locals, and I have 3 kids, and it's wonderful. My kids, it's conducive to staying close with my family, and we just live a few blocks away, so that's been a huge benefit. And Coronado's a special little town, and Clayton's is a special place.
I couldn't agree more.